here to help you with Lab 8, Understanding Ocean Salinity. The very first thing that I need to tell you is you need an 8-hour block of time to do this lab. So you're like, uh-oh, I waited too late to get started. I gave you a heads up early in the week, so that's on you. But if you did not wait and you're in a place that you can do this, then go ahead and get started. Here's the deal. You're going to need a little equipment for this lab, all things that you should have at your house. When you're doing science, any kind of experiment, you need to use similar containers when you're doing tests like we're doing here. So let's say you don't have 3 glass cups. All right, use 3 plastic ones that are identical. It's really better if you can use glass, and it's better if you can use the exact same shape. And most people have 3 glasses in their house that will work. So you're like, I have no glasses, I have no plastic. Okay, do you have styrofoam? You've got something. Maybe you got 3 little pots that you could use, that you cook with. You're going to label them A, B, and C. Why do I ask for food color? Because it really helps you see the changes in the liquid. If it's clear, it is not easy to see the changes. So what's the goal here? You're going to do an initial hypothesis. Don't research this. Don't think that if you did this in some other class or maybe years ago. I want you to do it again and see how it's changed and demonstrate to me that it has. And you are going to have one that has no salt, one that has a designated smaller volume of salt, and one that has salt, a lot of it. So you're like, well, I don't have salt. You can get a small amount of salt. You don't need a whole bunch, but if you can get a container of salt, that's something that is a staple in most households, that's going to be needed for this lab. What you're going to do is you'll label them A, B, and C, and then you're going to freeze them in 2-hour shifts. Okay, and you will be checking on them 4 times. That's where the 8 hours comes in. So it takes about 15 minutes or less to prep this lab. Where the time comes in is freezing. So it just takes time to freeze. This is how I'm going to ask you to display your data. And this is what I have in my guidance for you in the lab folder. So this is just the first reading. This was the initial stage 0, or the beginning of the lab before anything happened. This is stage 2. And you're going to have one for stage 3 and stage 4. And what you're going to discuss is answering these questions right here. And you're going to do that for each of your test subjects, which is A, B, and C. That's our test items. Once you finish with your 8-hour item, then you will come in and provide a summary, which is or a post-hypothesis statement. And you're going to see, was this correct or was it not correct? I'm not saying this person was right or wrong. I'm just saying that this is what they said would happen. We're going to see if that's indeed what happened after each step. So do I really need photos of all of the steps? Yes. If you don't get started soon enough and you can turn in partial ones, you'll get partial credit. But you must demonstrate these are yours. The only thing I would have done different in this section is I would have put a little piece of paper or a card that had my name on it to show that these were my photos. And I would have given myself photo credits for it. So just to conclude on your Understanding Salinity lab, the goal of this lab is for you to understand how salt impacts the freezing capacity of water. So this is important for oceans in terms of how we have ice that forms in our ice shelves away from our ice sheets like Antarctica and in the Arctic Circle. So I also want you to understand how that could correlate to life forms. For example, some shelly animals require a certain amount of salt in water to form. So if you have an area that's high in glaciers that are melting, you can understand how an excess amount of water could cause some dilution and how that saline issue could become problematic for these organisms. But the main takeaway that you're going to have is, where does that salt go? How does it work? Does it cause freezing to accelerate? Does it cause it to slow down? Does it cause it to stay the same? By you conducting this experiment and seeing the change of your 3 samples over 8 hours, you'll be able to do that. So just make sure you plan enough time and set timers for it, checking on those little samples, and document a photo for each stage. You'll be using the lab form that I provide, not one that you generate on your own. Thanks so much. Bye.